Hey fam, Master Coach G here, thriving after 50, mind, body, soul. And in this episode, I'm talking about the importance of our internal organs. Now, here's what I need people to understand how important our internal organs is, because they work together as a part of a complex system that maintains our body function, okay? Our heart, our lungs, our brain, our liver, our kidneys, our stomach, our intestines, our pancreas, our spleen, our skin, all those are our organs that we need to have working properly so that we can maintain good health, because one affects the other. And if one is not working properly, then the rest of our organs are overcompensating to work properly. So in this episode, I am talking about the importance of proper organ function. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the inside. Hey fam, Master Coach G here, Master Coach G here, thriving after mind, body, soul. And in this episode, I'm talking about the importance of our how we need to be able to maintain. Now, here's what I need people to understand: how important our internal organs is. Our organs, they work together as a part of a complex system that maintains our body function. Okay. Because without our heart, our lungs, our brain, our liver, our kidneys, our stomach, our intestines, our pancreas, our spleen, our skin, all those are their function organs and how we need to have them in working properly, okay, so that we can maintain good health. Because one is a very important organ, and if one is not working properly, then the rest of our organs are overcompensating to work properly. So in this episode, I am talking about the body. It supplies oxygen and nutrients, organ and it removes waste. This is Master Coach G, and I will see you on the inside. If your heart is clogged up, if your arteries are clogged up, then your body is not getting the nutrients that it needs, and it's not removing the waste that it needs to get rid of. Okay? That's the reason why we need to be heart healthy. The next thing I want to talk about is the lungs. Okay? Of course, the lungs enable us to breathe oxygen that enters into our bloodstream, carbon monoxide to be exhaled out. It's important that we keep our lungs in good working condition, because if our lungs are clogged up as well, okay, I know you've seen pictures, maybe like in high school or whatever, of what your lungs look like when they are damaged, okay. People who have COPD, things of that nature, their lungs have been severely, just totally not functioning, okay. It is not getting the oxygen to the bloodstream, and you're not exhaling the carbon monoxide that you should be exhaling, okay? That's why our lung is a very important organ, okay? People who suffer with asthma, they will be able to tell you that their lungs, they have to take, most people with severe asthma usually have an inhaler to open up the airways of their lungs, okay? So we got to keep our airways clean. There's things that you can do, which I'll take, I'll follow up with this on another episode, to detox. We need to detox our whole entire body, especially our organs. So yeah, our lungs are very, very important. And anybody who has asthma or severe case of asthma, they will tell you that when you can't breathe, it's a scary thing. I don't have asthma. I don't know anyone, close to me who does. But, doing a lot of research on asthma, just reading about it, of course, it's not like experiencing it, but I could imagine, not being able to catch your breath. Okay. So yes, our lungs are very important. Now, I just did a podcast on Tuesday about the brain. Okay. And how important it is for us to have good brain function, okay? Because the brain controls our bodily functions. It controls our thoughts, it controls our emotions, it controls our senses, it coordinates activity and processes information, okay? So if you didn't listen to Tuesday's podcast, then go back and listen to more information about how delicate and what we need to do in order to maintain good brain health. I know it's not something that we talk about often, unless you have a brain injury or you've had a concussion. But once you start to lose your memory or Alzheimer's or dementia set in, it's really important that we learn what we need to do so that our brain will function properly, so that way our senses and how it processes information functions at its optimal capacity. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the liver. Okay. The liver detoxifies chemicals, okay? It metabolizes drugs, and it processes the nutrients from food that we eat, okay? It also produces bile, which aids our digestive system, okay? We should always look to detox our liver, because our liver is what helps us to get rid of the toxins that's in our body. If you drink a lot of alcohol, it's going to affect your liver. It will start turning into jelly, okay? Now, from my studies, once it gets to a certain point, it cannot be reversed. Now, if you just have like a little bit or a little corner of your liver that's starting to deteriorate, yes, if you stop the drinking and anything else that is causing your liver to not function properly, then yes, it can restore itself. But you can't have a half a liver and think you're going to stop drinking and the rest of it's not going to be affected by that. Okay? Detoxing is important. It allows us to get rid of the chemicals and the toxins and all that stuff that we have put into our bodies unbeknownst to us. Some things we don't even know, but here's what I will tell you. You have to be careful if you're on medication. Medication affects your liver, okay? It affects your liver. It does not allow your liver to function properly at its fullest capacity. So that's why detoxing your liver is important. Okay, and I think I covered that in some time ago when I was talking about the whole entire body. But yes, detoxing the liver is important. Okay, now the next thing I want to talk about is the kidneys. And here's what we need to understand, that the kidneys can also affect the heart, and because it filters the blood that removes waste and excess fluid. Okay, that's what the kidneys do. It forms urine, and it helps to regulate your blood pressure, okay? It gives you an electrolyte balance and the red blood cells that are produced in your body, okay? So the kidneys have a lot of function, but if they're not functioning properly, then they're not going to be able to filter the blood. That's why you see people who's on dialysis, because their blood is not filtering properly, okay? It's not removing the waste from their bodies. They have build up fluid, okay, in their bodies. Their electrolytes are totally off balance, okay? So yes, kidney problems can affect your heart, your blood pressure, your electrolytes, your red blood cells. That's the reason why we have to be aware of our kidneys and how we need to take care of them. You can also detox your kidneys. I completely urge you to look into detoxing your organs, because this is what's going to keep them functioning properly. Next thing I want to talk about is the stomach. Okay, the stomach breaks down the food with the acid and the enzymes. It begins the digestion process. That's where the process happens at, in the stomach. Okay, and then it moves to the intestines. Okay, so we have the small and the large intestines, okay? And I know that we don't think about that, but here's the thing that we need to understand about our intestines is that all of the diseases that we attract, because we attract diseases, okay, they're attracted through our intestines. That's where our gut health is so important, okay? Because the small intestines absorb the nutrients from the food, okay? And the large intestines absorb water from the waste, in the form of waste, excuse me. So that's why we have to make sure that our intestines are operating properly because there's so much depending on us being well. Our immune system is found, our health is found in our intestines. That's why I always recommend that people take the probiotics, because we need probiotics. They're important for our intestines because we cannot digest our food properly, and the enzymes. And people don't understand, and I'm going to talk about that next, which is with the pancreas. Okay, the pancreas produces enzymes for digestion. Okay, and it releases insulin and glucagon to regulate the blood sugar level. Okay, that's what, so when you hear people say, oh yeah, I have diabetes. Okay, yes, the pancreas is not producing the enzymes for digestion that releases the insulin. Okay, and that's the part that regulates the blood levels, the blood sugar levels. So yes, we can also detox our pancreas as well. Now, what we should be taking is something for enzymes, because if we take something, like if we take a supplement, let's say for enzymes, what it's going to do is going to help you to better digest your food. It will better help you to release the insulin that your body needs. It's going to better regulate your blood sugar levels. Okay, so if you're looking for a good product, I have one for you. You can hit me up in the inbox me, call me, send me a message, whatever. If you're looking for something that's going to help you to digest your food, and you'll see that people who have like really large, hard stomachs, it's usually because they are not digesting their food properly, which means they don't have enough enzymes. They're not producing enough enzymes. So that's why I always recommend a supplement, because it will definitely help you with that issue, because you want to regulate your blood sugar levels. Okay. The next organ that I want to talk about is the spleen. Okay. The spleen don't get much attention. You know, we don't talk about the spleen too much. You know, it's just not, unless you have an injury to your spleen, most people don't talk about the spleen. But the spleen filters blood. Okay, it recycles old red blood cells and supports the immune function by fighting off infections. Okay, see, you bet you didn't know that, did you? Okay, because again, the spleen is not an organ that we talk about that much. Okay, but it's important because it filters our blood. It recycles old red blood cells, and it supports our immune function. And our immune function is important because our immune system is what fights off bacteria. It fights off viruses and flus and colds. Okay? So yes, it's very important, and it's a direct link to our immune function. So yes, you need to detox your spleen as well. Okay? The next organ I want to talk about, which is the largest organ on our human body, which is our skin. Okay? Yes, our skin is an organ. It is a living organism. It lives. It lives. It breathes. If you don't believe me, moisturize your skin. Okay? And the skin protects our internal organs. It regulates our body temperature. It's like a sensor, if you will. It's almost like when you go to your thermostat in your house. That's what our skin does. It regulates the temperature of our body. Okay, it's like especially for us women who are in the menopausal state. We can have one of those things that I call the hot flash, the senior moment type of things, whether you're sleeping or you're just walking or whatever. For me, it's like if I can put something cold around my neck, it regulates my whole body temperature. Or if I'm sleeping and I have one of those moments, if I take my feet out from under the cover, it can cool my body off as well. So our skin regulates our body temperature. Okay, so that's why it's important to take care of your skin. Be careful what you put on your skin because it does absorb into our bodies. Okay, whether it's the lotions or whether it's creams, whether it's laundry detergent, whether it's the soap that we use, whatever it is, we have to be careful with that because we absorb that stuff. Our skin, it absorbs it. So yes, we have to be careful with our skin because it does protect our other organs. We could actually even put on a steroid cream, okay, on our skin, and it can also affect your internal organs. But it's going on your skin. So that's why skin is so important. So we have to understand that. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is the bladder. Okay. The bladder stores urine until it's ready to be expelled from the body. The one thing about the bladder, especially, not just women, but men too, is we have to make sure we void. What that means is we have to get all of the urine out of our bladder, okay? It's like if you have a balloon and you just take it out the pack and you put water in it, okay? You're going to see it sagging at the bottom, okay? Which is going to represent, in this case, our bladder, okay? But if you empty out the water, you're going to still see where there's it looks like the water may still be in there, because you're going to see the definition of where the water was. So what happens is the more our bladder expands, the more chance that we are leaving urine in our bladder, and that's how we end up with bladder infections, urinary tract infections, because we have not voided our bladder. So what I do is, I know it sounds crazy, but what I do is I lean forward and I push until all the urine is out of my bladder. Because one, as you get older, your bladder gets weaker and you find yourself going to the bathroom more often. Even in some cases, you may even find, bladder leakage, So yes, our bladder is important, especially the older we get, because if you're 60 plus years old, your bladder has been stretched for a number of years. Okay. So it's not going to be in the same form, because if you recognize this, look at most children. Okay, they don't go to the bathroom half as much as we do when you're over 60 or over 50. Okay, but they just don't do it because their bladder still has great form. But the older we get, our bladder starts to kind of get out of shape. So yes, we do have to maintain good bladder health. Okay, that's really important, so that we don't end up having to wear those undergarments. They're trying to make them more attractive now, but I haven't gotten to that point yet. And I'm hoping that I'm the next 10 or 15 years away from that. But, if you don't take care of your bladder, you can get there sooner. So that's why voiding your bladder every single time you go to urinate. Don't rush up off the toilet. Make sure you're getting your bladder completely empty. Leaning forward is a good trick that will help you to empty your bladder completely. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is the gallbladder. Which stores the bowels by the liver, releasing it into the small intestines, and it aids for fat digestion. Okay, so yes, our gallbladder is important because it does store bowels, so we have to maintain and keep a healthy gallbladder as well. Sometimes people develop gallstones. So yes, we do have to be aware of our gallbladder, because it's a very important part of our internal organs, and we want to make sure that we keep our internal organs healthy. Okay, each one of these organs have a unique role, but they all work together to keep us healthy. Okay, balanced and functional. Okay, that's the key word here. Balanced and functional. They all work together. If one of them isn't working properly, then the other organs are overcompensating. Okay. Each organ has its own individual function, but they all work together to maintain good health. They all work together. It's just like the kidneys affect the heart. Okay. So yes, they all work together. So even though we can't see our internal organs, however, it's important to understand what the function of our internal organs are, and how we should maintain good health with each one of our internal organs, okay? Because the better our internal organs function, the healthier we are, okay? So take care of your internal organs, and because they need to be well balanced so that we can have a well balanced life, and it's for our well-being. It really is. So that's what I have for you today. I hope this episode has added value to your life. Thank you for joining me here on Thriving After 50, Mind, Body, Soul. But as usual, before I get out of here, I got to give a shout out to my listeners here in the United States, Canada, Australia, Russia Federation, China, Mexico, Belgium, Ireland, South Africa, Brazil, Nigeria, United Kingdom, Germany, France, Bangladesh, Ukraine, Kuwait, India, Hong Kong, Dominican Republic, and the Philippines. And the listening audience is still growing, y'all. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for listening. Hey, if this podcast was a benefit to you, please subscribe to my channel. So every time I drop a new podcast, you will be the first to get it even before it goes on any social media platform. So hit the subscribe button and subscribe to my podcast. This information is vital to our health. It helps us to be healthy. It helps our family to be healthy. And it just gives us a longer life so that we can live our best life. And write a review. Share it with somebody who you think it will help as well. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for joining me today. And remember, knowledge applied is power. This is Master Coach G, and I'll see you on the next level.